but anyway, it gives just a kind of an overview of pain, the difference between acute pain, chronic pain. You know, chronic pain is pain that goes on forever. Acute pain is pain that's just right now. Also, some night pain, because pain always seems worse whenever you're laying in bed at night. Nerve pain, and then some treatment options. I thought in here was something else that I want to speak to, and then I realized for some reason I did not put this particular thing in, but I will speak to it anyway, is non-pharmacological or not using medication to treat pain. Because as we all know, we're living in a world now where it's getting harder and harder to get pain medication because of the opioid crisis. And so, is that fair? No. But it's one of those facts of life that I think that we're going to be living with for a while. So, I am a big proponent of some of the non-pharmacological types. You know, using hot or cold. That's why everybody's getting gel packs. I put, and also there's rice socks back in the back if anybody wants those. But I've also put in here how to make a homemade ice gel pack and how to make the moist heat packs, which are the soft rice packs. So the instructions on doing that are in here. They're both very cheap, like under $3 to make. So it's just good information. I also would like to speak to using things like biofeedback, relaxation techniques, get those endorphins doing different things other than rushing to your knee saying, oh my gosh, my knee, my knee, my knee, my knee. Get your, move on to something else. Distraction, especially with the kids. I'm not big on movies or TV, but if that works. We found out the way to keep Ellie quiet is we turn Trolls on and we have a little zombie child that's just sort of like, that laughs at inappropriate times. But, if your child's in pain, if that works, use it. Coloring, art projects, that's one of the reasons the coalition likes to send things like puzzles and pens and papers and coloring books and things that you can put together. It's a good distraction for pain. We have tried many things with Amy through the years as far as controlling her pain, and you have to sometimes come to the conclusion that you're not going to resolve it. Sometimes it's going to hurt and nothing you do is going to help, and that's a sad reality. And
I just want to put in one more thing that's possible to do.
Sure.
Instead of taking pills and stuff, you can go to ride a horse. It's a very good movement. And it loosens up the body in a very good way. So that's what we have been doing. I have been doing it since I was a child. And for me, it's also, you don't think about the pain. You think about the horse and the nature, and it's wonderful. So it gives you a break.
Yes. Horseback riding. I was going to come to pets. Pets are another thing. Pets are a big source of distraction. They also elicit happy thoughts. Horses dogs, cats, guinea pigs, hamsters. Pets aren't for anybody, but there's studies that have been done that have said, you know, the wonders of what a pet can do. Anybody else have found anything that I've not listed that might help? Maybe.
Well, I got all kinds of hacks, but like I got a wedge that I use at night with it kind of under my butt and my feet over the edge, and for some reason that is like my ideal spot, you know?
Right.
But then, of course, sometimes you get leg cramps, and then you have like a pretzel, the human pretzel, so.
Even though I don't have MHE, I have chronic pain, and pillows are my friend. I mean, Amy will tell you my house is full of pillows because sometimes I buy pillows that don't work, or pillows that make things worse, or pillows that
Only work for a week.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, pillows, wedges, even rolled up towels, rolled up sheets. It depends on what size you need. Those are all good things. For back pain, of course, raising your legs up to take the pressure off of that area. That's another good thing.
Yeah, see, I've got I think it's a pretty small tumor on my pelvis, little hook-shaped thing, you know. And boy, that one.
Those hook-shaped ones are
painful.
just murderous.
Yeah.
Those little pointy ones and those little hook-shaped
Hooky
ones, they're
ones,
just
yeah.
murderous, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to add?
Massage.
Yeah.
We recently found a homeopathic ointment that works like biofreeze,
Uh-huh.
but it's completely made of lavender,
Eucalyptus.
that word, those leaves,
Uh-huh.
and something else, and it's worked really good for him as well as for me,
You're right.
because I get super bad migraines, and I've noticed that he gets them too. Just put it right there in the temples. It's just
Yeah.
wonderful. I
And-
forgot what it's called, but I'll take a picture and put it on the page.
Please put it on the page. There's another one with tea tree oil that I've used. I like a lot. As we were talking earlier, lavender is very relaxing. You know, drop that. In fact, I bought lavender oil to put in their rice bags, and I forgot to put it in. I got some things done and some things I didn't. Anything else anybody can come up?
Warm baths.
Yeah, warm baths, warm showers.
Weighted blankets.
Huh?
Weighted blankets.
Yeah.
Well, you're all gonna laugh because I will swear by hot pepper ointment.
Uh-huh.
I
Pacean.
It probably just causes so much pain that you forget your own.
Yeah, that's another thing. You can always hit
Is that
your
the
thumb and that'll.
capsaicin?
Yeah,
Capsaicin.
capsaicin.
Those
Yeah.
essential oils have been very, very helpful. I know with Brandon, we've tried different kinds and different things, but we made one, I call it bone juice is what he calls it, but it's almost exactly like what she was saying, and I use, it's got, let's see, frankincense, wintergreen, and lavender in it. The peppermint burned his skin, he didn't like the peppermint, but I think I added the lavender, wintergreen, and frankincense, and it really does help. He has me put on his feet every morning because he's got it at his ankles on his feet, so.
It's a good, and all of those are really good.
It's just finding the right combination.
It is. And every single person in this room is different. You gotta also remember that. So what works for one person may not work for another, but try different things. I tried to find, and this is a weird thing, I led a cancer support group for many years. And at Dollar Tree, they had these relaxation CDs, and they had them for several years. And they were $1 because it was Dollar Tree. It was the best relaxation CDs I have ever found anywhere. They don't have them. I've called the company I can't find one of them to figure out where they originated from. But that calming music, and maybe getting a child to listen to calm music may not be the best, be the easiest, I shouldn't say best, but be the easiest thing to do. But that brings that sense of peace and does help pain. And my cancer support group, they wanted to do it at the end of every one of our meetings. They just wanted to listen to that and even music. Ellie has this thing that plays all kinds of things, but she likes the ocean. That gives her, this great sense of peace, so.
Makes me have to pee.
Yeah, it does that to Tyler, but yeah. But we found that to be really, really useful too. I know Amy probably hates me for this, but she listened to classical music I listened to it, I read somewhere 31 years ago that it was good for children to listen to classical music. So when I found out I was pregnant, I started listening to classical music, and she had to listen to classical music till I decided, okay, well, I've probably done all the either damage or good I could do with it. But calming music is it's not only a good distraction, it helps with those fight or flight or all those wild hormones and endorphins and everything in your body. So. Anybody else have any others? Because you all got some really good suggestions.
I swaddled Amy whenever we had the baby. She liked that. That calmed her down too.
Yeah, did it? Swaddling Amy, okay.
Yeah. It's possible, you just got to get a big enough sheet.
Okay. I can see her fighting that a little bit.
She did it first, then she said it felt nice.
Amy, do you have any other pain tricks?
Not really. Though I do notice the more I talk about pain, the more pain I'm in.
Okay. Well,
That if I'm actually trying to actually notice where I'm in pain, I'm more miserable than if I don't do that. So, I don't know what that means.
okay. Any others?
There's a back doctor, surgeon, and he claims that he tells his patients to write their pain for a half an hour every day, and that they lose pain. And I tried it, and I thought it helped, but you know what? I got so bored with the writing.
With the writing, yeah.
And you're not supposed to talk about it either, and after you write it, you just rip it up. Out it goes.
Well, this is a little bit different, but it's on the same vein. There's recently been a study on weight loss, and there was a doctor that every day he ate the same thing, and none of the things that he ate were good for him. He ate like pizza, he ate like a hamburger and french fries and a Coke, getting like 1,000,000 calories, and then like a sausage biscuit and coffee for breakfast. But the thing about it was he was so busy that he was eating all of those things in the car and on the run. He always ate in his car while he was driving, in other words. So he went to a psychologist because he was gaining a lot of weight, and he had tried diets and different things. Then he started getting really stressed out, so he went to a psychologist. And this guy said, well, what are you eating? And he told him they ate the same thing. Like, he never varied his diet. It was the same thing every day. So he said, okay, from now on, you can eat in your car, but you have to stop the car while you're eating and savor every bite of the foods that you're eating. So he did that for 2 weeks and he realized that he did not like sausage and biscuits and coffee. He did not like pizza, nor did he like cheeseburgers, french fries, and Cokes. He was just in that mode of doing that. So really it would make sense that writing it and starting to think about psychologically, I think that that would probably do some great things for you. It's a good way of working through things. I put in here an article that we found several years ago. I still think it's pertinent about how parents can help their child cope with chronic illness because it's challenging. And several years ago, my Norwegians came and I did a talk on not only taking care of the child, but taking care of the siblings. I mean, most everybody has more than one child. And a lot of times you've hit that 50-50 lottery and you've got one child with and one child without. Well, you gotta be real careful with that one child that doesn't have a chronic illness. I won the lottery and ended up with 2 children with 2 different chronic illnesses. So it was always a balancing act. Amy in the hospital and Susan having ended up with chronic fatigue syndrome from having a severe case of mono. So we were constantly trying to balance, making sure everybody rested, making sure everybody ate, dealing with Amy going for surgery, dealing with Susan falling out in the floor. I mean, you know, we never knew. But you always have to balance that. But in balancing that, you also have to take care of yourself. Because what is going to happen to you if you're the one that ends up falling out in the floor because you've spent so much time trying to deal with all this. So do good things for yourself every day. Do something for you every day, just to keep yourself moving and going. And it's the same whenever it's your adult child having surgery. I know Joan, you're worried because this big surgery's coming up. So you've got to take care of yourself too, because I know it's a big worry for you. And I always think about that when Amy's, you know, having anything going on. I still worry, and I worry myself silly. But I have to take care of them. And always try to let your kid lead as normal a life as you can. And that's your adult kids too. But this article, we really, really liked it, so I've included it in there. I've included, many years ago, the MHE Coalition split off many years ago. We split because we realized that our board of directors had 2 different things in mind. Half of us wanted to go more towards improving quality of life. We wanted to do something that would improve the quality of people with MHE's life. The other together, to have time together, to send the kids packages, to man the Facebook pages. Because I found out since I became an administrator on those Facebook pages, wow, that is a job and a half. But, you know, we want to do that. That is our mission, is to try to improve things. In saying that, we funded a quality of life study which was a relatively inexpensive thing for us to do. It was done by Christine Alvarez in Canada, and we put some of that information. And a lot of it is, I mean, it's over my head, but it's essentially what it's saying is what we as people have been saying. Yes, we're in pain, and yes, I mean, yes, you guys are in pain. Yes, your quality of life is being affected. But sometimes with doctors, it's better to say, hey, this has been studied, and this is where we are. So we included that in. And another thing that is a big issue is school. School's a big deal. I've included both our long document on impact on education, and I had a request a while back to do a shorter document that was a one-page document that's an MHE handout for teachers. So that document is also included because they found out they could take this big document in and nobody would read it, but you've got a better chance of getting somebody to read a one-page document. Then several, I guess, this says 2016, I did a workshop on going in the hospital. Being admitted to the hospital is becoming less and less because so many things can be done outpatient. But this goes through, you know, whether or not, what to look for, and I think this addresses some of the concerns that have been brought up today, whether to have surgery or whether not, what to look for, when. Some of the questions to ask yourself and to ask your child, because this isn't just for children, this is for adults. If you can answer some of these questions, yes, or yeah, I'm having these issues, it may be time to look at having surgery. And then it takes you through, okay, I've made up my mind to have it, what now? And what to do. It also has a section on there, what to do. I'm a nurse, been a nurse 30 years. Also has a section in there on how to not make your nurse mad while she's taking care of you. It was just kind of a fun thing that I added. And a checklist of things to take to the hospital and not to take to the hospital. So that was just something that we thought we were getting a lot of questions about, so we've included it. I would like, and Paula, I know I'm always asking you to do something, but is there other information or other topics that you guys would like for us to address?
What kind of specialist are you seeing as an adult?
Okay.
Do you see just an orthopedist? Do you need to see?
You know, I have found that most of the adults that we talk to are seeing either an orthopedist or an orthopedic oncologist, one or the other. Orthopedic oncologists, however, in the state of Kentucky are few and far between. I don't know how well you all have, how much you all have looked.
There's two of them now.
Yeah, there's two now. There's one in Owensboro.
There's three now.
Yeah, one in Owensboro, two in Louisville, or is the other one moved to Lexington? Lexington, yeah.
I don't know the difference between the two.
And
One of them's a cancer doctor.
Yeah.
An orthopedic oncologist focuses on cancer, but because our bone disease includes tumors, he does understand what MHE is.
Yeah.
And they're more likely to know what MHE is than a regular
So,
oncologist.
what's that one?
An orthopedic oncologist.
oncologist.
I'm still
Normally,
new to this MHE family.
yeah,
Before my son's surgery and Christmas, I'll admit, I didn't think it was really as scary as it is. Well, not scary, that's a bad word.
Intense.
Intense, thank you. As intense as it is.
Right.
Then he had emergency spine surgery
Surgery.
on Christmas.
Right.
To remove one that was cutting his spinal cord. And ever since then,
I know.
I'm trying my best to learn. It's a lot to handle.
Yeah, well, an orthopedic oncologist will deal with any kind of, actually, they not only deal with, they also at times deal with some blood disorders too, but they mainly deal with tumors, and tumors, bone tumors specifically, both benign, which are non-cancerous, or cancerous, so.
Would they be putting the whole body together?
They tend to do a more of a whole body. They
Instead
tend to
of a
look
knee
at
or an ankle or a...
the, yeah, they do tend to look at a whole body. They do.
Shriner sent her to one when she was 10 years old, and they put, Shriners put full of it. Sent her to Dr. Schwartz in Vanderbilt. Because there's some surgeries they won't do at Shriners because they're too complicated.
Mhm.
But these guys will cut your head off, it's about it.
Yeah, they,
Sure will.
Okay, while we're on the discussion of the orthopedic oncologist, was one who, for those that are in the Lexington area, was it Patrick O'Donnell?
That's him, yeah.
Okay, so because I have an appointment with him next month, so I just wanted to see how he,
Yeah.
if you liked him.
We haven't been to him. We went to Dr. Calvert in Louisville and Dr. Schwartz in Vanderbilt.
but there's, and, you know, for pain issues, if you can end up with a good, internist or general practitioner, a lot of them can handle pain issues better than orthopedic doctors, because orthopedic surgeons specifically, all they care about is cutting. I mean, if they're a surgeon, that's what they want to do. I know we've had much better luck with pain control from just our regular, you know,
General practitioner.
general practitioners and internists, so that's, if you're specifically looking there. Now, for the big bone issues, definitely you need to go to one of the others. And a lot of orthopedic oncologists are also surgeons, not all of them, but a lot of them are.
When it comes to general practitioners, I know I was talking, we've got a fairly new family doctor. But he's also the medical, like the sports medical director for the college, university in St. Joe. And I just mentioned, you know, do you know anything about MHE? And he said, oh, you mean multiple hereditary exosis? And yeah, and I said, can you tell me a little bit about it? Just because I wanted to see if he knew anything. And he said, yeah, that he knew, he'd done some research and set it up on a little bit. I then mentioned Brandon, he said, well, start having him come see me, and I'll do more research if I need to. But I guess maybe his understanding of sports and the bones and all that stuff, he was aware and studied some of that. So I don't know if that.
Sports medicine doctors typically know nothing about MHE.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought, well, I thought it
It's
was
been
odd,
our
but-
experience. I don't know whether that's been everybody's experience. That's been our experience. But you run into those rare doctors. We were looking for a new doctor for Amy after she left Shriners and after she left Lexington, and Dr. Tallwalker would have continued to have seen Amy probably forever. But she left Lexington, so she was in Louisville looking for a new doctor. Well, I don't know how we picked this one out. We just kind of arbitrarily, he was in a practice that I knew. I just did not know the doctor. So we made an appointment with him, go in, and we're expecting him to know nothing. Absolutely zero, nothing. He was the most well-informed doctor we had found since she left Shriners.
Talking about Dr. Quadri?
No, Dr., what is his name? What? It's a, yeah,
He's with, I don't know, he left the Louisville practice. I think he's with Baptist Health now.
okay. But we were shocked. I mean, Amy, were you as shocked as I was? That
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was because you'll run into those rare doctors. And I will say, there are doctors of a certain age in the Kentucky area that were trained by Amy's original, he was on staff at University of Louisville Medical School. And Amy's original surgeon was, taught a lot of doctors in the state. And he was extremely knowledgeable and even wrote in textbooks, not that it might not have all been accurate, but about MHE. So a lot of doctors, if you probe, you find out that he was one of their professors, and so they consequently knew a lot. Anybody else have anything else on doctors or education, or did that help any? Yeah, good, Amanda, I'm glad.
It's been a rough road getting him to follow up care. After he left Shriners when he was 18, it stopped. He just
won't go.
Yeah.
I know, he seems like he's been in a lot of pain. Well, I've noticed since we've been here that he seems really uncomfortable. And it is, it's very hard. And you all are in an area that's kind of a touchy area. I don't know whether I can ask around and see if anybody knows of anybody that's up in your neck of the woods, so.
I think Chicago's going to be our best bet. That's still 4 hours. I don't know that anybody at like IU.
Yeah.
We found one surgeon who did his last surgery because nobody else would take him.
How far away is Cleveland from you all?
Probably 4 or 5 hours.
Would it be further away or closer than Cleveland has a couple of excellent doctors for MHE. I mean, they are really, really good. And I don't have their names with me, but they are very, very, very good. They're not with the Cleveland Clinic. They're actually with the University Hospital in Cleveland, but they are wonderful. Our president of the MHE Coalition actually lives in Cleveland, and she is very familiar with all the doctors there, so that might be an option for you. Any other questions or anything else you all want to cover or talk about, or? A couple of things I'd like to bring up. Matthew, if you would help me about this. We talked a little bit about transitioning out of high school to college, and Sarah, you're going through this, I'm sure, with...
Oh, yeah, I went through it. It was
yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I know. But Voc Rehab, I highly recommend if anybody hasn't tapped into it. I don't know, is it called the same in every state?
I think so. I've talked to one in, like a district supervisor, I think in Maryland, and they answer themselves as Voc Rehab, so I'm pretty sure it's the same vocational rehabilitation, VR, and that's just shorter.
Right. We found them just to be such a godsend, and like I said, Shriners we went from, that was when they started transitioning Amy, and that's something to look into, and I guess anyone over 18.
And that might be just depending on the state. There's been some new federal legislation, the WEO Work Investment Opportunity Act, that's been put into place that for high school students that transition, we can start as early as We usually do 15 or 16, but we work with University of Missouri, who has transition specialists, who we contract with that junior year, and then we usually get in that senior year in high school, but better to get in junior, senior year if they will, and kind of help solidify what's your goal, where you want to go, because that's one of the good guidance and counseling, and what are the barriers you have, and more of a relationship building time, and then we can't really pay for anything, at least in Missouri, until you graduate high school. That's when we can start paying for stuff that free services can kind of take place up front. And there's no cost to anyone. It's, when I say that we pay for things, it's just it's state and federally funded, so there's no cost to the client or the person using it.
Right, and they offer some really good services. Amy, they paid for her hand controls on her car. They also paid for her books all the way through school. I mean, that was the thing that they picked up, and that was one of her greatest needs. So I can't not say what a wonderful service that, and it's not a super well-known service. I don't
It's
feel
kind of
like.
a hidden gem. I mean, and I keep saying Missouri because I know it's different, but financial guidelines, if you're under their financial guidelines, we pay 100%. And I've got a lady who just in high school, senior year, all of a sudden couldn't walk. It just became really painful. Her classmates were pushing her around in an office chair to get her from class to class, and she didn't have a lot of family support, and she's in remission now from whatever it was, and we're sitting her in pharmacology school, and I'll pay all the way through her doctorate. If we can, at least for me, if I'm able to get it on the plan as a doctorate program, then we can pay even through the doctorate if we need to. So, and along the way, look at, writing, confined motor skills might be hard for some with MHE and stuff. We can look at word processing programs, speech to voice dictation programs to help take notes in classes, and there's all kinds of assistive technology and stuff that we get into.
So I know we found it to be very, very useful. So, everybody might keep that in mind too, because you do not have to be on disability to access their services, which is a good thing, because so many things you have to be on you have to be formally disabled before you can access those services. So I think it's a good thing.
And a lot of people think it's just for college or just training, but someone wants to, I just want to go to work, or hey, I'm working somewhere. I have a lot of adults. I've been working, but all of a sudden I'm starting to have flare-ups and having pain. And if this new law that the federal government's put in has been helpful, because they can say, if I'm going to lose my job because all of a sudden I'm having issues and my boss isn't being as accommodating, and they're trying to weed me out, or I can't go another step farther without some assistance. Sometimes, calling people, this is Matthew at the state of Missouri, that sometimes I get through to the next line of people. And so sometimes it's just that extra advocate on your side as well, to get in. I negotiate and talk with human resource managers, and a lot of times they're like, well, yeah, we can do that. They just didn't come to us and ask. And so it's just finding the right avenues, and we can help put people to work, and that's the mission of our agency.
Right.
I used them throughout college, and they got me the scooter that I have, which has been a godsend.
No, I'm sure.
Because last semester my legs started hurting horribly, and I ended up having to have surgery for it, and I couldn't walk to class. It was impossible for me to walk. So without the scooter, I would have been having to call public safety and have them cart me around in the golf cart. And I've already went through that once. They take 20 minutes to get anywhere. And it's been a godsend for conferences and things like that. And we're having talks right now to get a lift for my car whenever I get a new car, so that now I can be more independent in places, because I can't really walk for long distance. I'm going to get exhausted. So having a scooter is I don't need it all the time, but I need it if I want to be able to do anything else that day.
If it's a barrier to your ultimate goal, which at that point is either education or a job, if it's any kind of barrier between that, then we help fund it if we can. My coolest had a farmer who couldn't get into his combine, so we actually put this lift on the back that he could actually lift up into a combine, and then body on a 4-wheel drive, automatic wheelchair that had wheels that he could go through fields and all kinds of stuff with it. And so, I mean, if it's a barrier to you keeping your job, and that's what our agency's for. And so it's been a real help. And I love being able to help see people in those situations and see them overcome those barriers.
He helped put me through school 30 years ago.
Yeah, they helped Tom. Tom not only had MHE, had a severe car accident and was in rehab for months and months and months. And they helped him get his driver's license back. I mean, some things sound like they're simple, some things aren't so simple, but they helped him get his driver's license because he had to like go through driver's training again because he had a brain injury. So they helped through that process. I mean, we've used Voc Rehab for a couple of things, and it's just been, I can't sing their praises enough, so.
And sometimes it's nice to have someone who's just outside the situation, and you know, we're not directly involved. So even as a parent, you know, like, I want to be my best help to my son, but sometimes the best is someone who's not living it every day. And so we can say, what's the next step that you need, and just help them talk through the process, what needs to be done to get to this. And so sometimes it's nice to have that outside support to do that.
Right.
Come in and cry or yell or be mad or do whatever. I mean, I hear it all. So.
Right. Well, I think that's good, and we thank you for doing that. Anybody else have any other issues, anything else they want to bring to the table to talk about while we're all together? And now, my next question is this useful for everybody? Would you like for me to be thinking about doing it again in the future?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a location that is better than Lexington to do it? I don't know. We've got Indiana, Illinois,
Norway.
Norway. I mean,
I'll vote for that.
you vote in Norway.
I'm sure house big enough for everybody.
How about Hawaii? We'll meet over there.
I'm interested to see if there's more, and it doesn't have to be a location, but we just don't see or know a lot of people around Kansas City, Omaha, Des Moines, if there's even that much of a presence out there. So I don't know if people contact you from those areas or if we just don't have.
You know, it's really funny. We have like drive-by people. Somebody will show up on our radar like for a couple of weeks and then we lose them. And I don't know exactly how to do that. We actually have a map on it was on our website. It may be down. I'll check on where it is. But had a locator of where everybody was. Now, granted, before Facebook became so prominent, it was really easy for us to keep track of everybody. We had a big map. It was located in Parma Heights, Ohio. And every time we'd have a new person, Shelley put a flag and say, okay, here we were. It was a world map. And I've been to her house. It was on her wall, and she put a flag on it. Well, we've gotten to the point now where we're so big, but it seems like if you just put out there, is on the Facebook pages, is anybody in any of these areas? We're matching people up pretty good just doing something that simple. I have addresses for a lot of people. I don't have anybody else in your all's area right now. I don't have anybody in your Indiana area right now, except our family that's up there sitting with you, but none of them have MHE, but you could go visit them if you wanted to. They'd be happy about that. I recommend anytime you want to find anybody in your area, just put it out there. Is anybody in St. Louis area? Is anybody in the Des Moines area? Is anybody, because that's how we found each other to form the coalition. we just started sending emails until finally it coalesced and we found each other. I mean, and it is hard for me to realize that the first time I found somebody else with MAG for Amy and Tom was in 1997. And it was through an intense internet search at that point in time. And then we incorporated in 2000. And so we've been a nonprofit since 2000. So, but that's my best. I'll see about getting the map put back on the website, because I think it is down now. And I think it was just because it ended up getting so complicated, we couldn't keep up with it. It just started being crazy. It went beyond a map on the wall. So.
Do you know if there's anybody old besides me in this group? I'm 77 and I always feel like.
75.
Oh, good, we can
Thank
form
you,
a group together. Because you don't really hear, I don't know what happens beyond me.
Shelley.
Talk with you anyway.
Yeah, Shelley is actually in her late 60s. I'm 61. Susan Wynn is 65. But I mean,
We're looking for 80-year-olds.
80-year-olds. I will look for you some 80-year-olds and see who we.
Maybe I better not.
Nah.
Sometimes it's better not to know.
But we do have the 60 and above range. That is, this is gonna sound bad, but several of our older people have died. Unfortunately, which I really, really hated. You know, one of our founding people was a guy in St. Louis named Bill. Do you remember Bill? And it was a great loss to us when he died, yeah.
I'd like to say